What's up, you guys? Welcome back. Oh, I'm really tired right now, if you can't tell. I am just finishing up work for the day. For those of you that don't know, I am a social worker and I work from home, and I have some time before I have to go pick up the kids. So I thought this was a good time to chat. I want to talk about how mental health matters, and this all started because I had a little mentee bee the other day. If you're not familiar of what a mentee bee is, that translates as a mental breakdown. You know, life just be lifing sometimes. And I had a moment the other day and I was processing a lot through that mental breakdown. And just so you know, mental breakdowns are not a form of weakness. They're actually really healthy to regulate your emotions and your nervous system. If you ever get that feeling of like, oh, I just feel so much better after I had like a really good cry, it's because that's your nervous system regulating itself. So it's better to cry it out than holding it all in, internalizing everything, and it coming out in other ways that might not be so healthy. So if you feel like you need to cry, just let it out. You know, your body will thank you. So anyways, I had a little mentee bee the other day, and I realized that I, for so many years, felt unworthy. I felt unworthy for years and years and years, and I've overcome a lot of adversity. I'm definitely on the other side, but I wanted to share because I feel like a lot of us have moments or seasons in our life where we feel unworthy, and I just wanted to share my own story about that today. So start from the beginning. In middle school, I was bullied. And I don't think that's something any kid ever expects to like experience in school. And like, how do you even prepare for that, right? Like, I don't think any kid is like really prepared for that. It wasn't physical. It was a lot of like threats and like verbal, like type of bullying. Fortunately, I was never like beat up or anything like that, but these girls, they just didn't like me and they threatened to beat me up. They never did. It never actually happened, but they talked about me a lot. They spread rumors about me, and you know, kids, they believe what they believe at that age, you know, 12, 13 years old. And that's something that sticks with you as a kid. I mean, I'm over 30 years old talking about it, you know, and this happened over 20 years ago. So you can imagine, for anyone that's been bullied knows what I'm talking about. And that in itself was really scary, you know, because I felt like I couldn't really talk to anyone about it. And you feel really like scared, right? You're scared, you feel scared, you feel like you can't talk to anyone about it. You feel unsafe physically, emotionally. So that was very, very scarring. And for the longest time, I was like, I don't understand like what I did wrong, right? You kind of feel like, well, what did I do? Like, you know, and the bottom line was I didn't do anything, you know, like humans just can hate sometimes, you know, like haters are gonna hate, you know, people find reasons to not like you, I don't know, or are jealous of you, or whatever the case may be. And as a young, you know, kid, I wasn't in, you know, a mental state where I could like really know that, you know, not until like I was much older and realized that like it was so dumb, you know, of those girls to treat me the way that they did, because there was no reason to. So that was really, really, really hard. And going into high school, you bring a lot of that stuff with you. And, you know, in high school, you experience a lot of insecurities, well, at least I did. And you're trying to fit in, you're trying to figure out who you are, you're trying to, you know, you want people to like you and all these things. And I feel like that was a really hard time too. Like middle school and high school, I was not a fan of. I feel like I experienced a lot of like adversity as like a child in middle school and high school because of like the way people like treated me, and also like feeling rejected by people. And, you know, like another example is like, you know, trying out for the dance team and not making it the first time. Eventually I made it, but you know, like feeling rejected, right? Feeling like you're not worthy of like being on the team, or you feeling not like you're not good enough for certain people, and liking boys and them not liking me back, you know, stuff like that as a high school, as a teenager. And it sounds so silly talking about it now, but in those moments as a teenager, as a child, like those things felt and, you know, were at the time so real to me and so scarring. And, you know, that kind of also bled into college, you know, same thing with like boys, like liking boys, them not liking me back, feeling like you were like too much for people, when in perspective, like those people just weren't for you, you know. And again, like I didn't realize this until much like later, that it wasn't me. It was the world, it was everyone else. And even applying for grad school for the first time and not getting accepted the first time, and, you know, getting accepted the second time, you know, working really hard to get, you know, to where I wanted to be, and really, really hard to accept even in like young adulthood, to feel unworthy, to feel not good enough, to feel rejected for so long, for so many years, starting from the age of like 12, right? And then bringing that into early adulthood, applying for certain jobs that, you know, I didn't get, and stuff like that. So it was really, really, really hard for me. And I'm kind of like getting emotional just even like talking about it, because it brings back a lot of like memories that I, you know, that I'm not very fond of and were really hard to get through. A lot of that, you know, brought a lot of like anxiety, depression, you know, catastrophic thoughts, and things like that. And trying to figure out how to get through it, like trying to navigate these feelings, these emotions, and pushing through, you know, pushing through, getting through life. And I know this might sound like nothing to you, especially for those who have maybe gone through like severely like traumatic things, but I think it's important to like not minimize people's experiences. I think it's easy to say like it could have been worse. Sure, definitely grateful that it wasn't worse than it was, and also at the same time not minimizing someone's feelings and experiences, whether big or small, or you know, I wouldn't even measure it as big or small. I think everyone's feelings are valid, and their experiences are never minimal. And, you know, what people go through are what they are real to them, and their experiences are real to them and their reality and the struggles that they have to go through and their challenges that they have to go through. So I won't go into too much details, but, you know, there was a lot of like mental and emotional like adversity that can honestly take some people out. And I don't mean to sound like morbid or anything like that, but it's true. It's true. That's why mental health matters. You really don't know what people are secretly struggling with or internalizing until it's too late, you know, before you can help someone. So I think it's important to be kind to everyone, no matter what kind of experience they have, and that we're all struggling through something, whether it may seem like it or not. People are always going through something. So when my husband and we were trying to get pregnant, I experienced a miscarriage, and that was obviously very, very traumatic for me. One, like, it took us a while to get pregnant, and then when we did get pregnant, like, I lost the baby. So like, that was extremely traumatic for me, and processing through those emotions and feeling, you know, really lonely and isolated, because at the time, like, all my friends were having babies and everything was going perfectly for them in my eyes, right? I'm sure they were going through their own things too, but everyone was successfully having a healthy baby, and I had a miscarriage, and I felt like I could not connect with my friends. I felt like I couldn't relate to anyone. I felt like no one really understood what I was going through. And you know, even my husband, you know, God bless him, like, he was super supportive and there for me, but like, at the end of the day, he could never fully understand like what I experienced as a woman, you know, losing a baby. You really have to be in those shoes to fully understand like what that's like. So that was really hard. And like, I felt like, am I unworthy to have a child and things like that? So it's like, I'm going through all these up and down emotions, good days, bad days, good days, bad days. And, you know, constantly feeling like you're not good enough or worthy for something or someone or whatever it is, you know, just like those feelings of like unworthiness and not being enough can really take a toll on you. They can really, really take a toll on you. And, you know, fast forward, you know, we were able to have 2 beautiful, healthy children who are happy and healthy and thriving, and I'm so grateful to God for that. Truly the grace of God. And come postpartum, something no one ever talks about, and dealing with, you know, postpartum anxiety and depression, and then like that loneliness and isolation again, and feeling like so empty inside, you know, feeling like, am I being, you know, all that my kids need me to be? Am I a good enough mom? You know, constantly like comparing yourself. So hard. And I feel like, super fast forward now to today, I'm definitely seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. In fact, I feel like because of everything that I've been through, the trauma, the adversity, overcoming a lot of fears, doing things afraid, pushing through the hard moments, pushing through the hard days, pushing through those intrusive thoughts, pushing through the spiraling, that I am a strong and resilient and worthy person. And not because of everything that I've been through. I was already worthy before all those things happened. And I'm finally realizing today that I am even stronger because of those things. I am worthy. And even like saying that and admitting that is still kind of uncomfortable sometimes, but it's so important to like actually say it out loud. And the more you say it, the more you're gonna believe it, right? So I feel like mental health matters, and whatever it is that you are going through is important. You are important. What you're going through is important, and know that you're not alone. Know that you have to push through, not for anyone else or anything, but for you, for future you. Push through for future you. She or he will thank you. And it's such a beautiful thing to witness, just being on the other side, like knowing that, like, man, if I gave up, like if I try to take my life, or if I try to just like throw in the towel in certain moments in my life, like I truly wouldn't be here today. Like I would not be alive to tell my story. I wouldn't have, you know, my amazing husband and my beautiful children, and being able to like be there for my family and friends, and be the social worker that I am today, helping the community. You know, like I wouldn't be here to be able to like witness the beautiful life that I have. So all this to say that you are worthy. I am worthy. You are worthy of every good thing in this world, and you don't have to work for it, and you don't have to earn it. You already are, just because you are who you are. And if you're feeling alone, if you're feeling like no one gets you, no one understands you, know that like you're not alone in how you feel, and someone else is probably feeling the same way that you do. And I encourage you to do things afraid, to push through, and to be kind to yourself. And those things that you tell yourself, that self-talk, you know, like I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy, or I can't do this, you know, like really trying to switch that switch that framework, and telling yourself that like I am afraid, but I'm gonna do this anyway. Like I am good enough, and not because of anything that I need to do or will do, but because I already am. You know, God says I'm already worthy. So yeah, just wanted to share my story with you, share that with you, and know that you are not alone.